This deck cleanly checks all of the big meta threats out there. Whether you're seeing Silver Surfer, Maverick, Discard, High Evolutionary, this deck has answers to them all without feeling like a random jumble of tech cards. It plays real mid-range points and still gives you room for some flex slots if you want to bring in a pet card of yours. Let's dive into the full deck guide. Hey, what's up everybody? Kicker of Elves here. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you're at. Today we've got a deck guide for you going over what some are calling the premier tech deck of the current metagame. This is a tech deck not using Wiccan stuff, not using Zabu stuff, but it is based around the core of Merlin Werewolf and then supplemented with some action from a points package by the Hood, Sentry, Annihilus, and then a litany of tech cards. We've got Red Guardian, Shadow King, Shang-Chi, Quake, and then some interesting, Iron Patriot, always valuable, and Cable's getting a little bit of a moment in the sun. Holistically, what this deck is trying to do is saying, hey, there are a lot of decks that want to go over the top of me. There are, we've got Maverick stuff. We've got Fastballed Special Nimrod stuff. We've got discard stuff. There's so many decks out there that are trying to combo off or just out mid-range us in certain cases like high evo and things like that. What we're here to do is move around power unpredictably with Werewolf by Night, have a lot of spells to either change the board state or give us energy or make use of transforming the Hood or Sentry or even just regular middling or on-rate bodies like Red Guardian, Shang-Chi, or occasionally a Shadow King, turn those into a cost higher card, and also have a respectable little mini clog package with cards like Sentry, Annihilus, and Hood. I've been playing variations on this list. Been playing a lot of this particular list over here, which I called Move and Disrupt. This was a spin on a list I got from Glazer, where in this version of the list we had packed in cards like Hawkeye, got Merc Cannonball in here, and included Prowler. So this is lighter on the tech. We're really just talking about Shadow King and then like Quake Deafening Chord, I guess, with Cannonball Mercury, and Annihilus with Sentry and the Hood as higher end tech packages. But been played a good amount of this today, and I think this is a really well positioned deck, and figured it was worth sitting down, doing a breakdown so y'all can take this on the ladder yourselves and run amok here. The main thing here is that we are really in on Werewolf. Werewolf is our primary big points package card. If you are not big on Werewolf or you've had difficulty with him in the past, definitely, as always, take this out into Conquest, get some reps in before you take this out into Ladder, so there's no no awkward situations where you accidentally Shadow King your Werewolf or once in future it, stuff like that. May take a little bit of practice, but this feels very powerful. I have seen some buzz if you watch some of Cam Best's more recent videos talking about like, I can't wait for the season pass card in January to come out so we can get Sentry Annihilus out of here and bring that in. I think there's a lot of different ways to go with this stuff. I think currently this is still very strong. There's a part of me that wants to, this is more just preferential stuff, like cut Red Guardian to bring in Prowler so we have more cheap skills, more ways to move Werewolf around, more ways to put out unpredictable power on the final turn of the game. But this current iteration did very well for me. I got some gameplay highlights at the end of the video here showing how it did in a Gold Conquest as we gear up towards Infinity Conquest going live. At the time this is published, tomorrow will be the beginning of Infinity Conquest, so get out there, get your Infinity borders. So before we go into the card by card breakdown, holistically what this deck is trying to do is get strong points with Werewolf by Night, Sentry, Annihilus, and Hood, clog people with Sentry, Hood, Annihilus, and then output a ton of different tech cards, maybe some unpredictability with an Iron Patriot. And yeah, this can boil down to a deck where you win a location with points by Werewolf, win another with tech, or just do a respectable mid-range point output with clog with the now seminal Hood, Sentry, Annihilus. So with that, let's dive into the card by card breakdown. The Hood. Best one drop in the game. The Hood is a 1/3 that gives you a demon, which is a 1/6. This pairs perfectly with your Sentry Annihilus playline. Just throw that Hood over there. Hood can get 2 out of 3 spells from Merlin, get rid of the Hood or turn him into upside. It goes well with an Iron Patriot, where if you play the Hood on turn 1, Iron Patriot another location on 2, you've got a 1/6 that is very difficult for people to follow up and beat to win the Iron Patriot location. The Hood's phenomenal. If they nerf him, I bet they make the demon a 1/5. The hood's been very, very strong for a long time. Next, we've got Deafening Chord. This is our cheapest tech card here, and there's a lot of stuff that Deafening Chord can deal with. If for the Nimrod deck, this targets and takes down Kid Omega. This can hit a Morbius if you're playing against discard. This can hit an opposing Merlin. This can hit a Madam Web if you got one of those psychos out there still playing move. This can also just be, if you're playing it later in the game, just a cheap way to move your werewolf. And it's still, even if you don't really care about the texture taking away, it's still a -1. So it still plays for 1/1 and could play for a 1/3 if you count the power you're moving on werewolf. So love to have Deafening Chord. Iron Patriot, one of the very best cards that came out this year, perhaps in the top 3 or at the very least top 5. We've got a lot of ways to win locations early with stuff like the Hood, or even just respectable power outpoints from cards like Cable or Red Guardian, depending on what location you're playing this into. In a tech list that is really trying to police a lot of the metagame, having a card like Iron Patriot, where if you win that location, you have some unpredictable point output or tech output, depending on what card you get, is really, really valuable. So I think Iron Patriot earns its spot here. This isn't just like, oh, there's a blank location, let's play Iron Patriot. It's, even if you're not playing him exactly on 2, if you're playing him on a 4 after you've gotten a werewolf out, and you can play Iron Patriot, play a Hood another location, then play another Merlin skill back into the Iron Patriot location, you're putting in like an 8 power werewolf in there to win you that. It's very, very strong. Play with Iron Patriot. Merlin, one of the top 5, if not top 3 best cards released this year. What a fantastic card. Getting him on turn, I will honestly often prioritize playing Merlin on turn 2 over even Iron Patriot, except maybe if I have a Hood ready to go. But even then, Hood on 1 into Merlin on 2, and then Werewolf on 3, that's practically a snap condition. You're getting rid of your Werewolf. You're turning... We've got, like, our tech cards are good, like your Red Guardian, that's great to shut down a Morbius or shut down a Dracula, but it's kind of weak sauce on the board after. Polymorphing that, or in a desperate situation, once in futuring for it, if you need to do a big pop-off play on turn 6, he just feels fantastic. Merlin is the ultimate toolbox card. He gets rid of your Hood. He can also give you an alternate way out of, you don't have to play a Nihilist. You can turn that Void from your Sentry into a 5-cost card, which can also be a surprising play. People have to guess, okay, are they going to Merlin get rid of it? Are they going to once in the future? Are they going to polymorph it? Or are they just going to Nihilist over to me? Feels incredible. Getting Merlin out on turn 2 is maybe the strongest play you can make in Marvel Snap. Quake's getting a little bit of a moment in the sun here. She was being run in the Victoria hand list before Deafening Chord came out, and she started getting cut from V-hand. This is pre-nerf Victoria hand. But Quake can feel really good here, especially with the negative power that we can output. Like if we get a bar with no name on the left, but we put, we put our Void on the right with Sentry, quaking the middle and then swapping those other 2 locations can be a very powerful play. This is a great scammy surprise card. I wouldn't say it's required. I mean, she's Series 3, so everybody has her. So this is, kind of a feel-good card placement to be able to use this. And I think overall, this is a really strong card right now. I do want to say, just randomly in here, this particular version of the deck was cooked up by Heart of the Cards Snap. Make sure you go check him out, Heart of the Cards Snap on YouTube. Excellent player, excellent deck builder. Make sure you go check out his YouTube channel. I dislike the people trying to switching a card or 2 and then trying to claim that this is their own version of the deck. I'm not that guy. I want to be forthright about where I'm picking up decks and the influences there. So make sure you go after the video, subscribe to Heart of the Cards on YouTube. Really great channel. So Quake, back to Quake. Yeah, good card. By no means essential, but this is a really great scam play. This can really still use some cubes on things like a Nexus, and it's a good surprise card. Cable just got buffed to a 2/4. And because of the current state of the metagame, there's a lot of, not good cards deck, but there's a lot of value in just taking a card from your opponents. If they're playing combo, you might take their Jocasta. If they're playing just like cool mid-range stuff like High Evo, you could take one, you could take their Sunspot or their Misty Knight, or just like valuable cards there. If they're playing, Shuri Sauron stuff and they Sauron on turn 1 and you Cable on turn 2 and take their no ability 3/10 Star Brand, that can feel really good. And now that he is a 2/4, good value. This could be another card where if you're not super into what he's doing, you could swap this for like a Prowler or Kate Bishop maybe. But I think there is a lot of value and a lot of free information coming from Cable. And at 2/4, you're often just 2/4 draw a card that you're probably going to want to play, or at the very least know I have broken their combo. It's now turn 3. They haven't played a ramp card and I just took their Electro. I know I can snap. Very valuable there. Red Guardian is maybe the card I believe in the least in this list, and this might be a personal thing, but with the exception of cards like an Iron Man or a Dracula, Deafening Chord often does what you want from Red Guardian. Still, he can target those higher power cards, and he represents a good body to polymorph. Now, turning a 3 cost into a 4 cost can be very valuable with one of your Merlin spells. But in my playing of this particular list, I haven't used him a bunch, and this might be a card I cut to bring in Prowler just so I have more points and more ways to trigger Werewolf, more ways to move, with the flight harness, moving a card into another location can be surprising. But still, we're going, this is a teched out deck. This is mid-range points with Werewolf, Merlin stuff, and Iron Patriot supplemented by tech. And Red Guardian certainly has targets out there. He is sharing a lot of commonality with Deafening Chord. So this can be a decision up to you. If you don't have Deafening Chord, for example, definitely keep Red Guardian. If you have both, try it out. If you're not liking him, bringing in a card like Prowler or maybe Kate Bishop, if you don't have Prowler, could be an excellent option. Werewolf by Night, Mr. Spooky himself. This is our main points engine. Werewolf plus Merlin. You are moving so much power around. What's excellent is that your final output on the end of the game is going to be unknown because they just can't know where this werewolf is going. If you've got Merlin down, if you've got skills, if you've got, you can play attack, it's just your opponent's not going to know where it is. One of the worst things that can happen to you in Marvel Snap is you've filled out a location before the end of the game, and there's no way for you to buff it. Your opponent knows left location has 16 power. If I beat that by 1, I absolutely win. Werewolf is the antithesis of that situation. Werewolf says, I've got 18 power. You got to figure out where it's going to go. Hope you played around that and my Shadow King. Goodbye. So yeah, Werewolf can take some practice. I was not a big Werewolf fan back in the day when he first released. I was not a big fan of the Loki by Night lists, but I am a big Werewolf fan now. Merlin makes him a lot more straightforward. Your skills and your clog package with Hood, Sentry, and Nihilist really help him out. And yeah, not much else to say. Werewolf is a fantastic card, maybe the best, if not one of the very best Series 3 cards in the game. Shadow King. This is the best just pure tech card right now. Maverick's probably the card of the month. Shadow King just completely face rolls Maverick. If you're playing against Surfer, if you're playing against Man Spider, any sort of buff deck, Shadow King just absolutely rolls it. You can just save him till turn 6. Yeah, you're not doing a turn 6 Annihilus or whatever, but he is a lane winner in a lot of respects. Anything with green power that's not ongoing needs to live in fear of Shadow King. He can play for oftentimes a 320 or more, especially if you're playing against Surfer. And I wonder if they nerf him at this point because he is just that good. Shang-Chi. So like I said, I got this list from Heart of the Cards. He had Mobius and Mobius in here. And I think this is kind of a flex tech spot. I have found in playing this that this deck has a lot of answers. Like Mobius was not the thing I was worried about. Like I wasn't running into a lot of Mr. Negative. If you run discard can get 0 cost stuff. But like with discard, I've got Deafening Chord, I've got Red Guardian, I've got ways to deal with their Daken, their Bullseye, their Dracula, their Morbius. Deafening Chord and Red Guardian do that. What this deck doesn't have a great matchup into is like ramp, for example. Somebody just playing a big guy down. Like, oh, here's my Infinite. I'm still 12 power more or 11 power more than the Void you sent over, so sorry. So in the gameplay highlights that you'll see at the end of the video, I was playing Mobius, but after running into decks like how am I forgetting this? Ramp, there's just not a lot of answers. Like, yes, Deafening Chord can hit their chamber, for example, but I think Shang-Chi is the better fit over Mobius. But if you know you're running into a lot of Mr. Negative, for example, then Mobius might be the swap in here. Shang-Chi's a little surprise card right now, but he certainly does his thing to blow up a big guy. The Sentry. Some people are not hot on Sentry Annihilus stuff, but he's very strong at 4/9. His void is so flexible in that there's 3 different ways for you to deal with it. Like the hood, you can once in future it for extra energy going into turn 6. You can polymorph it to get a big 5-cost card. Maybe it turns into a freaking Ronin or something. That feels excellent. Or a Professor X. That could be silly. Or you can just Annihilus it over and your opponent has to deal with that -8 power. I think this is still a very strong thing to be doing, especially if you have your Merlin out. And he's on reveal, so he moves your Werewolf, and love it. I think Sentry is very good, if not a bit underrated in this list. Last but certainly not least, it's the Green Menace himself. It's Annihilus. You're getting, if you have not gotten rid of your hood, your Sentry Void, then Annihilus does that. This can lead to some pretty scammy plays where if someone's setting up like an Iron Man location, or if you're you'll see in the gameplay highlight, I believe there was one where there was a death domain on the right, and you can just, I instantly win that because I Sentry Annihilus over there. Using Annihilus, you have to be mindful of if you're playing it out on turn 5 or turn 6. If you're playing it on turn 6, Annihilus plus a hood, or excuse me, plus a demon can be very strong. You just want to be mindful about if you're playing Annihilus into a location. If you play Annihilus on the right, for example, you often don't want to do that because you'll move your Werewolf over there and send the Void over. You're overcommitting. So just be mindful if it's the right time to play Annihilus on turn 5 or if it's time to play him on turn 6. So with that, let's jump over into some gameplay highlights. Just want to say thanks to everybody for watching. If you've been enjoying the channel, if you love what I've been doing, please hit that subscribe button. We are getting so close to our 1,000 sub goal. That's going to let us join the Marvel Snap Creator Program. It's been a dream of mine for the past 3 years. And with everybody who's been watching, support, and subscribing, we're going to make that dream a reality in the new year. So thank you all so much for that. Leave a comment. Let me know if you like this kind of deck. Are you sick of Merlin Werewolf stuff? Are you a big fan of the Wiccan tech decks? Is that more of your thing? I do not care for Wiccan. The only tech decks I really like is Merlin Werewolf stuff, but please leave a comment, like the video. Hope you enjoyed these gameplay highlights. And for everybody, I'm Kicker of Elves. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Okay. What is this? Little chimichanga action here. Let's go Iron Patriot. And then we could always Werewolf chimichanga over to Iron Patriot. Halloween light. It's a little light Halloween. You know, we decorated a little bit. Like Jim from The Office's Halloween costumes. It's still technically Halloween, but we got is it the Paul Maffeyan, the one people accused of being AI art? I think we snap this. Halloween, but worried you might be the only one that dresses up for the party. Exactly. Oh yeah, I'm going as the lead singer of a band. Risky gambit with the Captain Carter and Danger Room. Iron Patriot still does his thing. So I think it's Cable Quake? Snatch a card here. Yeah, that's a good point about the Halloween party preference. Okay, they did get something, but we're gonna go Hood. Oh, we got their Brood. Um, um, I still think it's Thing and then Mobius. Shaw, Viv. I feel like we have mid. Is it just Demon? Demon Annihilus? I like that. Oh no, but wait. That was a freaking active danger room. Hmm. So we're doing a more traditional buff surfer list. We didn't see, so we have to assume there's a surfer. Then like Human Torch, maybe? Iron Patriot. We get a good Iron Patriot, we can snap. They've got nothing that's going to compete with us on turn 3 with a 12 power demon. Danger room is more likely to occur the less you respect it. I often feel that way. Like, ooh, gore. I would love to be greedy and just throw the Mobius down, but I think we got to be safe and throw the demon in there. If you do you remember like the I forget what it was called. It was if you've been playing for a long time. It was like the first air quotes real tournament for Marvel Snap. I think it was called like Infinity Gauntlet. And KM Bass was playing against Cozy, and there was something where like he would have won, but he played into a danger room that like, oh snap, we got. So we don't get the freebie gore, but we also get to Shadow King at the end. Snap, do we stay in on that? I think we do. Yeah, he would have won, but then he like he played into a danger room and like if one of his cards survived, he would have gotten the W, but just did not have it. Hmm. I think we gotta just Mobius. That doesn't feel great, but I think we do have to. Coming back after 18 months out, played in the beta. You're coming back at a very interesting time. I did not play during the beta, but I think the game's in a pretty good spot right now. You've got a zillion more cards you can get together. Um, yeah, I think we just Mobius. So we want to throw priority and then be able to quake back. Oh, he's gonna play Brood though. Maverick, Prodigy. Now wait just a minute. Is it actually... Quake? Yeah, if you weren't super attached to your account, starting like a totally new player experience might be better because you get really good new player rewards. You get like a free Thanos and stuff. There's a lot going on there. We lose if they Maverick. Like if they're not Maverick, if they drop Brood over here. I still want to try it. Who would win? All the buffs in the known universe or one King of Shadows? The answer is the King of Shadows. Yeah. We actually are not super well positioned into this kind of deck, so we'll just see how it goes. I also personally, this is one of my least, turn 1 Sauron. That's good. Let's take one of their cards. Maybe we can steal something high value since they've Sauroned. It's genuinely hilarious. Oof. We go like Werewolf. Sentry. We don't snap back because then they know what's up. If they're good, they'll fill up on the right. Let's say this would be something. Yeah, I see. That's perfect. They got that one. They blocked with the Ares and the Hell Cow. So I think it's Cord. Cord. Iron Patriot. Chord, Iron Patriot, Shadow King. I don't love this this matchup, so I kind of just want to snap to to end it. Like if we go for 8 and if I win, great, and if I lose, then we're just out of here. He likes to emote, so we're just gonna mute that. Let's see. Let's go. There we go. Sometimes when you hate the matchup, you just gotta go in and just high roll it. Yeah, I mean, I should probably just be better about like not getting tilted. Sauron. So we'll go Moylan. And we snap that. Need auto mute. Yeah, I agree that there probably should be a universal thing, but so much of their monetization is like the emotes, and if there's anything that's like, you know, helping them monetize in a way that's not like what am I trying to say? If the emote stuff, if them monetizing the emotes that way, like is making the cards less expensive, then like please keep it. Hand is full. So we're gonna cable. We cable. We hood. And then we once in future save the omniversal. What am I talking about? We cable. We hood. We once in the future. Gotta put my thinking cap on there. Okay. So I think we got this. We go boom. Hold on, we go. I think it's boom. How do we actually want to do this? just boom, 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 boom? I think so. The SK doesn't feel great. Once in future. Annihilus. Oh, there we go.